about I want to talk about the something called guilt, which is a very big problem. So it's basically the effect. What happens is you do something wrong that you shouldn't do, a small thing wrong, and you all of a sudden start to feel very guilty about the wrong thing that you did. Start to regret what you did. But what happens when you feel that pain of regret and remorse for what you did? Now you feel uncomfortable with yourself. So there's a chance now, you're actually raising the chance that you'll do something else wrong because you're not comfortable with what you did. So you're going to find a way to get some solace, to find comfort with what you did. So now you're going to do something else wrong, and often it's going to be even worse than the first thing. And that you're going to feel even more guilty about the next thing that you do. So the problem is, what we're trying to say is that this, as we started discussing in yesterday's class, that one of the most critical components for a successful life and for successful Judaism, to fight the good fight, not lose your diet, not lose your struggle against your animal soul, and to be the best you can be, is that you have to be a joyful person. You have to be a happy person. The evil inclination knows that sadness, depression, melancholy is one of its greatest tools to destroy you, to make you lose the war. Right? I remember once I don't know if this is true or not. I remember like a while ago, there was a football team playing against another football team in the Super Bowl or something, and somebody pulled a fire alarm on the hotel where they were staying, woke all the players up so that they shouldn't do good. So even the team might be the best team in the world, but if they didn't sleep the night before, right, they're not going to play well. So what's the evil inclinations? What's the Yetzer Hara's trick to get you to fail? If he can get you in a bad mood, you're not going to succeed, right? It's like in dieting. If you're in a very positive, happy, good mood, you have much more self-control. As soon as you're in a bad mood, you're in a bad place, you lose your self-control. And the evil inclination knows that. So even if being sad were not to be a sin, in a way, it's the biggest sin because it actually does the most damage to the person, right? Because it's the most dangerous thing. So yesterday's class, we spoke about at length a very deep, difficult topic. We spoke about the person who has problems, bana chayim mezayna, meaning family problems, health problems, and sustenance problems. That was our discussion at length yesterday. How do you deal with that? And we said, what do you mean, how do you deal with that? We hope in life Hashem should never bring anybody challenges. But the fact is, those challenges are going to throw me down. They're going to make me in a bad mood. They're going to make me sad. So we told you the truth is you should know, and this is the meditation in life to help a person not to get depressed from these challenges, very real physical challenges, family challenges, business challenges, or right, that we're all going through. You come to work, your business is failing. God forbid you're having tremendous problems financially, like with Corona or whatever person's having. The problem is not that you're having the challenges. The bigger problem is that now that puts you in a bad mood. That could destroy your life. Could destroy your family life. By the person being sad, it's going to be harder for them to get out of their business problems because now the business problems caused and affected them personally, emotionally, and the person. So the Tanya is saying you should know that the challenge is actually closer to Hashem than the blessings you see, because the blessings you saw was all interpreted by your mind because it wasn't as great. But the challenges, they were even greater greatness from Hashem, which is why you don't see it. So you should know that you're closer to Hashem. It really is good. Just in your eyes, it looks horrible and terrible. But the truth is that no bad comes from Hashem. Only good things come from Hashem. And you should know that it's a great, good gift that Hashem is giving you. You won't know it till Mashiach comes. Till Mashiach comes, you won't understand it because it's from a higher world which can't be perceived. Only by the coming of Mashiach will that world be opened up, and we'll see why it's good. But today we're talking about a different challenge. We're going on to another challenge. And that is the challenge of guilt. What is that challenge? Right? It's a very Jewish thing, this guilt idea, is that we've all done wrong things in our life. And when we think about those wrong things that we've done in our life, the bad things that we've all done, it hurts us. It's painful. We feel guilty for the different things that we've done. We start feeling very guilty for what we've done. And some people might say you're a tzaddik. And the fact that you're feeling guilty is a good thing, right? Because that shows that you care, that you're a person of a conscience. And in today's Tanya, he says exactly the opposite. That is the greatest scam. It's the greatest trick of the evil inclination. If he could get you to feel guilty, it's not a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah. He actually is destroying you. He's such a good con artist that he's doing something that you think is a mitzvah as a tzaddik. I'm feeling so guilty. I feel so good. I feel like I'm so holy because I feel guilty about the sins that I've done. And now I feel holy because obviously that's my godly soul talking to me, telling me that I did something wrong. He's saying, no, exactly the opposite. You know what's going to happen when you feel guilty? Why are you feeling guilty when you're shopping in the store? Why are you feeling guilty in the middle of trying to do a deal? Why are you feeling guilty while learning Torah? You think you're going to be able to keep on learning Torah now if you feel so guilty? All of a sudden, why is that popping into your mind? You feel terribly guilty about the sin that you've done. Right? I'm not saying it was a good sin. It was a terrible sin that, let's say, that the person did something horrible. But what is it helping you now? It's stopping you from learning. It's stopping you from work. It's not the right time and place now that you're having these feelings. It's not a holy feeling. And then it gets you depressed. It makes you melancholy. I'm such a bad person. Look what I did, right? And how do you think about? You look at yourself as you lose your self-esteem, you lose your confidence, you feel like a bad person, and you fail at life. You fail at your challenge in life. Are you going to be able to overcome the challenge now that you feel like a failure? No, it does. It's not good. It's not healthy. So we're going to say today that again, one of the most important tools in success in life is joy. Yesterday, we discussed the physical challenges that people have, how to meditate and try and help themselves a little bit get out of their depression that they're in because of those issues. Today, we're going to say that there's another challenge that arises that also causes you tremendous depression and distress and gives you low self-esteem and challenges is you thinking about feeling guilty for the bad things that you did. And that's what we're going to discuss today. Let's look inside today's Tanya and analyze this next idea. Tomorrow, we're going to learn another very interesting topic, a third topic that causes a person to be sad, and that is not for the actions that they did. That's today's topic. Tomorrow's topic is going to be for the bad thoughts and feelings we're having. Even if you don't act on them, you might get frustrated with yourself and say, why am I so messed up? Why am I so rotten? Why am I such a piece of work? And that could also lead to depression. But today we're discussing the actual sins that a person does causes him tremendous sadness. However, sadness, depression, mimili, deshmaya, that come from seemingly heavenly things. Even the heavenly sadnesses that are caused, because joy and happiness is the key to success, is one of the keys to success. You have to think of ways also to free yourself of the negative feelings, the sadness that's caused by the sins that we've done. First of all, it doesn't even need to be explained. That while you're davening, you're serving Hashem, you're serving God, you're learning Torah like now. So you have to serve God with happiness and with gladness of heart. Right? Hebrew school, like you just say Hebrew school was torture. It shouldn't be like that. Happy goodness, it should be going to show, should be besimcha, happiness and goodness, gladness of heart. That's how we should feel about Judaism. Not just as a person that is serving God, even when you're at business, and you're just doing your regular worldly affairs, you're going shopping, whatever. If he falls some kind of depression, anxiety, and sadness from heavenly matters during his business, fine. I get it. When I'm doing a mitzvah, if I get a guilty feeling, a negative feeling, it's for sure the Yetzer Hara, for sure the evil inclination doing that, because that's not going to help my service to God. Right now, if do a mitzvah, besimcha, happiness is a much better attitude to have when doing a mitzvah. But what about during business? Maybe that's not the animal soul. Maybe that's not the evil inclination. Maybe that's the godly soul. So he tells you, even during business, you should know this is the con artist, the scam of the evil inclination. Why does it do it? Because he's making you depressed at work, because his eventual goal is to make you fall with your gluttony and lust. that's going to come afterwards because you won't be able to fight it at that point anymore. So you should know it's all him. It's all bad. This guilt that you're feeling is actually unhealthy and it's not good. It's bringing you down. So even if for sure, if it's in service to God, you're in the middle of trying to daven, all of a sudden you start feeling guilty about things that you did. Why are you feeling guilty now? You're supposed to be happy and joyous so you could daven as in the best way you can. Even at work, why are you feeling guilty? You got to work. You got to be successful. You got to be happy and positive. Why does he want to get you to become depressed? Because that's his greatest success. If he can get you depressed, and then he says, if you're in a diet, trying to diet, and you're depressed, and then someone says, okay, eat this food, eat this piece of cake, you're going to grab it because you don't have any willpower left because you're in a bad mood. How do I know that it's the evil inclination even doing work? He says, I don't get it. You want to argue that this guilty feeling you're feeling for some real sins that you've done in the middle of work, you want to argue that is from God? How all of a sudden did you get this feeling? And all of a sudden your godly soul is saying, okay, be depressed in the middle of work. What's the connection? If anything, maybe during Torah study, when your godly soul's on fire, it would start thinking about the negative things that you've done. But in the middle of work, how does the godly soul all of a sudden start pushing that you should feel certain things? Why all of a sudden you're doing a business deal and all of a sudden he wakes up? Obviously not. This is all the trickery of the evil inclination because it knows the best way to knock you down is to make you sad and depressed, and then he can knock you down. So therefore, whether you're feeling these feelings of depression during serving God, during learning Torah, during davening and shul, you're starting to feel these strong feelings of sadness for bad things you've done. Or if it falls not during serving God, just during the business or just during the regular part of the day. This is how to deal with it. This is what you should tell yourself. This is how you should deal with these feelings that you're having. It's not the right time for depression. Even if you've done horrible, terrible sins in your life. It's not the right time now. This is not the right time. I remember hearing once this idea, maybe it's a similar thought. There's kids who had anxiety, and the therapist told them, dedicate a specific time for you to be anxious. Don't think about it. You think about it all day. So at 6:00 at night, I'm going to designate a special time. I get all my anxiety out that I want. I should be nervous about everything. Give yourself 10 minutes, a half hour, whatever you need. Sit and be anxious. But during the day, it's not helpful. That's what he's telling you here. He's saying that even if it's the worst sin, I did something terrible, and it's bothering me now. It doesn't matter. It's not the right time. So what is the right time? So how should you deal with it? Fine, you're telling me I shouldn't deal with it. So what should I do? Ignore it my whole life? No, so make set times. If you want to be anxious and depressed, and depression is never good, but you want to be sad at certain times about it, set up set times in your calendar. At the right time. I believe it's like midnight when we used to daven. As I mentioned the other day, people would pray the midnight prayer and cry for the destruction of the temple. At that point, to think about the greatness. What do you think? Look, you don't think how bad you are. You think how great Hashem is. How could I hurt God? It's not about you. It's about the effect that you had in your relationship with Him. Because by thinking about the greatness of God and you realize how you hurt your connection to Hashem, or you hurt God, then your heart is really broken with a real kind of bitterness. Like we explained this elsewhere. But however, follow that time. You set yourself a 10-minute window. I'm going to have my sadness, my bitterness at this point in time. Once you're done that time, you're done. The clock's done. Get it out of your system. Do it here. And you should maybe think about it certain times. But that's it. This is the time for it. It's not to be all day during work and during family time and during learning in Torah. It's not the right time. You're supposed to be happy and joyful with your children. You're supposed to be happy and joyful at home. Judaism is supposed to be happy and joyful. So we'll explain this elsewhere. After your heart is broken at those set times, you should completely forget about it. God forgave me. I just took care of my sins, and then believe that you've come out as a clean man because Hashem for sure has forgiven you. So and then you'll come to a true happiness that comes after a sadness, like we explained earlier. So again, for being a Jew, for being a successful human being, you must have happiness. It's crucial. It's critical. You cannot be successful in life without happiness. Dr. Rebbe is guiding us as a coach, telling us how exactly should we deal with what if we've done real sins. Doesn't matter. It's not the right time. It's not the right time in the middle of work to start thinking about the bad things you've done and then start feeling all bitter. It's the trick of the Yetzer Hara, because that sadness will only make it worse. It'll spiral out of control. Person feels bad. Let's say they're carrying around constantly, they're feeling guilt for something they did. They're going to start abusing substances or other things that they're going to do, and then they're going to regret that. So it's not healthy to feel these feelings, but you shouldn't ignore it completely. You should set aside times. When it's set times, it's the right time. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Think about the things you've done and cry out to Hashem the right way, the healthy way, not just to feel guilty, but to cry out for the damage you've done, and Hashem will forgive you, and then you move on with peace in your life. That is the end of today's Tanya. Any questions or comments on today's topic? No, we good?
Very. Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Very powerful stuff.
By the way, Gershon, you were asking this yesterday. You always ask the next day's Tanya the day before. So you're asking about how to look at sins, and that is today's Tanya.
Yeah, no, this is very powerful because I don't know. I always found it a lot easier to deal with like stress or anxiety in work or life or whatever when you even before you start, even before you pray, even if you think about this, you start and you look at why you're feeling anxious and why you're feeling all this anxiety. And it helps me by writing it down. Like for work wise, if I have like all these things that needs to be done, I'll just write it down and like put a pen to paper and visually see what I need to do. And it actually is exactly what it's saying. Like I address the anxiety, I address what's, in my head, it's all scrabbled, and I put it, more concrete, and it's actually a way easier to attack it rather than thinking like all these thoughts all day long. Oh, I have.
You're saying it's good to set a time. It's good to have a set time in order to
very powerful. This is very powerful because it literally closets it traps all your thoughts, and you could attack it rather than, you feel like, oh man, I have something bothering me. I don't know what it is. You're not setting yourself time to think about what's bothering you. Let it out, get it out. And once you do that, it's always feeling like, you lift the weight off your chest. So it's very powerful. I like,
right. He's talking specific. I don't want to change what he's trying to say. He's giving us advice specifically for sadness, for sins we've done. So it's the anxiety and the sadness that comes from the bad things we've done, but I think it would work in every area in life. I like that. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking away the depression and anxiety part, because that's like a big part of anything in life. And right. What is sin? Sin is just a tool to go away from God. But sin, you could do sin in anything. Sin is just a tool. It's not, it's a tool that we use to either do something good with or do something bad with.
Right. So. Right. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So that was today's Tanya. Any other questions or comments on this topic? Yes, Ira.
Question. So, yes. I guess it's a general question, but I know you say a lot to meditate on it, right? A lot of times you say meditate on this, meditate on that. So, yes. I mean, I'm not one that meditates. What do you mean by that? I mean, what do you mean by meditate on it? I mean, we're learning all this stuff. What do you mean? Say the Torah, what we're learning, or what do you mean by meditate on it?
So I know last night's class also we had like a meditation there. We had a thing.
Right.
I think it means, I'm trying to remember, we discussed this when we spoke about wisdom and understanding. I think that I'm trying to remember how we explained it. I had a good analogy there, a good way to
I mean, last night he gave you an example to, which was great. I mean, that's something that you could use, but does every circumstance is there a meditation for every circumstance that we didn't learn, or how do you know, what do you mean by meditate on it?
I think in general it means to spend time thinking about it and how it affects you. So understanding it well and how to apply it to your life. How it applies to you. So a lot of things we just move on is very theoretical and so on. We don't really get to know, like when you get to know a person well, I think like it's a goal maybe of a lot of movies and stuff is to try and show you details about the person's life and not how it affects you, but if you think about the details of it and how it affects you personally, and to continuously think about, bring that issue up, because you could control your thoughts, it will eventually have a effect on you. So where did we use it today? I'm trying to think like a specific example. We said that, to think about the greatness of Hashem. So that, I guess that means that, in detail, that Hashem, I'm trying to think, I had a really good way to understand this, but I'm not picking it up there. Let me see if I can remember. But as far as I understand, it's like Hashem
that's what
let me get back to you. But that's the answer. Meditate doesn't mean, I think, like some other meditation ideas. It means to understand in detail about Hashem and Hashem's greatness, and Hashem creates the world, and Hashem's involved in your life. And to think about that issue, that most things in life, people just ADD, they move on right away, but it means to understand it well and spend more time thinking about it than just rushing through it. I think that's probably what it means.
Okay, because I mean, last night he did the example, with the meditation regarding death and energy, the piano, the music. Well, there was, and then
right.
So that's something to think about if you're concerned about that, to bring it down, to give you another meditation on it. So I'm saying, like, if it's something else, I don't know, you can't use that for everything. So I didn't know if there were like certain.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think he's gonna give you a meditation for each class, right? In the last night's class, Rabbi Taub gave a meditation for the class. He's basically bringing it down, bringing you an analogy and helping you understand it with clarity. I guess that's all.
So is there a meditation for Tanya for each of the things we've discussed in each chapter? Each aspect. Is there some? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Because you say meditate on it. You say meditate on it, and I don't know what you mean. I mean, I understand what you mean, but I don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to do it.
So we're going to talk about Hashem's greatness, because remember we said we want to manufacture emotions. That comes through meditation. So on chapter 41, we'll give you a bunch of meditations to think about. Okay, Tanya's going to have a section which I think will give you the meditation. You're asking a good question. Later on in Tanya, we'll give you, first of all, we give a lot of examples always, like with the hidden love of Hashem, we give you continuously examples, but thinking about Hashem's greatness is you could think about how Hashem creates so many different creatures, how our body's so sophisticated. I mean, there's a lot of things that a person can think about and realize that Hashem's greatness. But there will be sections in Tanya which we will specifically discuss this.
Right. I mean, okay, I feel better now because I feel like I was missing something. You say meditate. I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I had a meditation like they had in the class last night, but I'm not that prepared.
Right. I understand, but there is stuff forthcoming that will give us at least a foundation.
Yes, correct. What we should meditate about. Not how to meditate, but what we should meditate about. Awesome. Okay. Chapter 41, we're holding 26 right now. All right, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Shalom. Bye-bye.
Shalom. Take care, everyone.